husband is best friends with his brother's ex-girlfriend, and I feel weird about it, because he's admitted to finding her hot and said he would even try a threesome with her. I, 37F, have been with my husband, 44M, for 17 years. We have kids, a dog, and we used to own a business together. He has this friend who happens to be his little brother's ex-girlfriend, 30F. She's been in and out of our lives since she broke up with my brother-in-law over 12 years ago. Over the last 4 years or so she's been constantly messaging my husband. She never sends me a message unless my husband tells her that he's not home and she's on her way, which rarely happens. She's currently engaged and has a baby on the way. Both my husband and his friend say they have a brother and sister relationship and it's nothing to worry about. My kids don't like her or her kid, and her kid is 7 years younger than our youngest child. They feel like they have to babysit her when she comes over. This is what bothers me about their relationship. I'm never included in their conversations online or even when she invites herself over. My husband once told his brother that he thought that she was hot and if he was younger and single he would try to date her. During an intimate moment my husband told me that she was the only person he would ever ask to do a three-way with us. When she comes over she barely speaks directly to me and always to my husband. I have to butt into the conversation for her to even acknowledge me. I'm tired of feeling like the third wheel in their friendship. Last year he gave me one of his old cell phones because mine had broken. He hadn't logged out of his Messenger account so I used it to my advantage and read their messages at the time. He had admitted to her that he had told his brother that she was hot and that if he was younger and single he would date her. He then told her I wasn't home when he said that, and I didn't know exactly what he said. Her response was to send him a laughing emoji. Ever since I feel like they both occasionally disrespect me in their conversations. All he does is talk about her. He never makes her wait when she texts him, yet sometimes when I text him he takes a half hour to answer me. So tell me, would I be an a-hole if I told him that he had to choose between his relationship with me and his friend? Update 1. So I guess this has been coming for a while and I've got my ducks all lined up. I spoke to him. He admitted that he did have a crush on her, and that's when I told him we were done. Obviously he doesn't want to split amicably. I finally found a lawyer who can help me out with the paperwork at a lower cost of $600. I'm also currently looking for an apartment, and I've applied at a few places, so I'm just waiting to hear back from them. I've thought about setting up a GoFundMe to help me absorb the costs of everything, but I'm afraid of him finding the campaign. I've already opened up a secret bank account and PayPal account. I'm hoping to have enough money saved up and collected by the beginning of next week. I want to be out of there as soon as possible with my kids. Update 2. We've had several talks over the last few weeks. At first he wanted to work things out. As a matter of fact he says he never meant any of it and he keeps apologizing for breaking my trust, but now he's being a straight-up dick to me. Then he flipped and decided that since I don't want to work on things he left for his brother's house. He hasn't seen our kids in the past month. He talks to them on the phone but that's about it. Just to mentally flip me off he's cut mine and the kids' cell phone service, so I had to get us new SIM cards for that because otherwise we wouldn't have phones. He's refused to pay anything in regards to school supplies and uniforms. He doesn't want to give me a dime. He hasn't done his taxes this year, which means I won't get any family allowance, which cuts me $1,800 per month on my budget. I was able to sign the kids up for a local school supply distribution, but the only thing they don't help with is the uniforms. Thankfully only my older two need uniforms. My oldest has some old uniform shirts that will be passed down to my other child, which means my daughter will be wearing her older brother's shirts. She's really annoyed by the situation and has been giving me lots of attitude about it, but at the moment I can't afford t-shirts at $35 a piece with the school's logo on it, so she has no choice. Unfortunately uniforms are mandatory. I spoke to his friend as well and I told her everything that was going on, and she blames herself for what happened. Personally I just think she was putting on a show. I haven't spoken to her since. If you ask me I still think she is a hypocrite. Finances are tough right now and I barely make ends meet. Thankfully food banks exist because once rent is paid, I barely have anything left over for bills and groceries. I still haven't been able to get the money for a lawyer yet. I've tried taking loans but that didn't go over well. Now it's like we're in a state of another Cold War. He refuses to talk to me for the time being, but I guess he'll come around eventually for the kids' sake, I hope. I feel like sometimes I'm drowning in all this mess. Edit. For those who are saying that the timeline doesn't add up, I left with my 4 kids at the beginning of July to visit my elderly grandmother who doesn't live in the same province as us. It was supposed to give us breathing time to try and work things out. When I came back with the kids he was already gone. When I was at my grandmother's he would barely talk to me, but talk to our kids via Messenger. My trip with the kids to my grandmother's is a yearly trip. I didn't know that he would go from wanting to stay and work things out to leaving, and I was blindsided by that. I'm not going to start making posts on Facebook blasting him, and I'm not setting up a GoFundMe either. I don't want him finding anything out, and I don't want him to pursue me legally for trying to ruin his reputation either. I don't want him to have anything to use against me in court.